You said about it being kind of old school and retro, but I think it might be part of like this wave of nostalgia because you can go into stores now and they're making proper brand new record players and records for stuff, and there's that old nostalgia. There's a video game reviewer, author, game developer called Yahtzee Croshaw who said that typically these like nostalgia waves for stuff
Mm,
come in every 20-year periods. And he's obviously using it from a gaming background. This is back when I was into gaming and I'm
mm,
using his example.
mm.
But it might be the case where with something like lumen prints or very old photography, it might be longer because it's not so fresh in the mind and people are always looking to discover things.
That's a really good point, actually. Yeah, so, yeah, I think you're right. Actually, very much. People do like to look back at things every now and then, sort of take pick, and you see that in fashion and all sorts coming through every. But I think with also with photography going from sort of where I was like processing my own films to darkroom, now it's gone to digital. There are many people that have never even they can't even get the idea of concept of actually developing a film or the idea of their image being actually on a film that you have to then wait for to be developed, wait for it to be printed. And I believe some people buying film cameras now are actually going in, exposing a roll of film, and then going, well, I just have the prints and throwing away the negatives because they don't understand. Well, that's the data you want, but they just want the digital data. Um, but there's also, I think, with digital imaging, it was for me as well. When I picked up the digital camera, it was very clinical. It was amazing to be able to use technology to help me do the things I wanted to, like the computer is a digital darkroom and also a digital camera. But it was incredibly clinical, and I didn't enjoy that process. You lost the hands-on process, and I think some people also when you use a certain apps and things that give you that old look of old photos. And well, I've got a cupboard full of old plastic cameras with bits of tape on them that are actually those are the cameras that you use with plastic lenses that are dreadful, but they give you the most beautiful, dreamy images. But your phones, your apps and things like I've forgotten the app now. That will give you, using an app to try and actually give you that. But I'm using a camera to that actually where that app comes from is trying to mimic that. So people start becoming a little bit more interested. But I think also with COVID as well, people were looking with more homemade things as well and looking back for things and thinking, well, okay, well, if I'm interested in that, and Instagram's incredible as you just feel an incredible rate. Well, asking questions a bit and saying, well, how can I make things like that? Or and processes, how can I do that? But something simple. So they have sort of some people have got into that idea of doing these sort of process is a way to use the hands as well and introduce a bit of chance and difference to it.
It sounds like people are looking for more of a hands-on approach instead of everything essentially up in the cloud.
Yes. Yeah. I think also it's like well, people getting into the crafts like knitting, crochet, and things. It's that idea that I made that. Where everything with the digital age seems to be like, well, there it is, I've done it, there you are. But it's all very fantastic, but you don't see any of the process behind it, or there's no handmade in that. And I think there is a need to do that. We're human beings. We like to make things, whether it's cook and do all sorts of things. So definitely people looking for that handmade thing and personal side of it as well.